I don't understand what prayer is. What does that concept mean? How do we make it practical and see it on a clearer manner? So in the flow of things, this is the end of this 5-minute in the morning clarity in which we wake up, and we just spoke about that. We say Shema, which is about the verbal consciousness of how we look at this world. In other words, there's consciousness and then verbal consciousness. I verbally acknowledge that even though the world doesn't look to be one, it really is one now. And the world, we believe, is echad. We close our eyes because we can't physically see it, but we believe that to be true. And I have to say that with such intent that I am experiencing that reality of oneness. So if you can have the priority and the will to take the time in the morning and do that, and to say that, and to experience that for a second, you will live in a world in which you are conscious that everything is connected. In a quantum sense, everything is tied to one string. It's all connected at the same time. And afterwards, we pray. In Yiddish, it's called to daven. So I'm going to bring to you the question of the Maharal as a basis for this clarity. The Maharal asks a question that everybody at one point asks themselves, which is, why would you pray? If I'm supposed to get it, I'll get it. If I'm not supposed to get it, then I won't get it. If I'm going to get it, that'll happen anyway. Why should I have to pray? And if I'm not supposed to get it and I pray, that won't help. Why? I don't get the concept, asks the Maharal. And why does it have to be verbalized? If God knows what you're thinking, why do you have to say it? What's the concept of speech? So the explanation goes like this, that we know we live in a world in which there's a giving and receiving. There's a duality in the world where we don't have and we receive. There's night, and then into the night comes the day. In this world of darkness, we connect to good. There's always these two motions of lacking and having. And we, humans, are the crown of creation. We're in between heaven and earth. There's part of us, our soul, that's from heaven, and there's part of us, our body, that's from the ground. And we are the connectors of these two realms. Now, how and where does this connection happen? So it happens in a human being, but most importantly, it happens in speech. What distinguishes us from other mammals is that we have the ability to speak. Dolphins make noises, gorillas make noises, but that fact that I'm sharing with you an idea from the Maharal of Prague that lived close to 500 years ago, and I'm explaining it to you, and it's going into your brain and you're picturing what I'm saying, this doesn't happen anywhere else but with humans. So our connection to each other is through what's in Hebrew called dibor, speech. I am a speaker, meaning regardless of public speaking, I'm speaking. Our connection to each other is through speech. The concept of prayer, Maimonides says that it is a mitzvah from the Torah every day to pray. That which we have 3 times a day and we have a specific language of prayer, that was added on by the Rabbanan, by the rabbis. But on a biblical level, once a day there's prayer. So we always get confused. You go into shul, you open up a book. What am I supposed to do? In the middle of that, are you supposed to pray? Meaning I'm singing a song, and I'm saying, I hope everything turns out all right, even though I don't know the words. Are you supposed to slip in a prayer? What is that? So prayer, when Maimonides talks about the concept of prayer, it is the following thing. Not a synagogue concept, a personal concept in which after you are conscious that the world is one, you now walk through the threshold of maturity and you acknowledge the overt reality of vulnerability. You acknowledge that even though I'm smart with a college degree, I don't have full control. I don't have the power to fulfill my life. I have what it takes, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to do my best. But the end zone is not in my power. Now, we all waver between independence, a feeling of strength, and vulnerability. If you feel too much vulnerability, that will drive you crazy. That will be the seeds of OCD of, oh no, I'm totally vulnerable. Anything can happen at any time. I have to do a magic charm. I don't want to step on the lines. I want to do everything in odd numbers. I'm going to do crazy rituals in order to make sure that life works out really well. Too much vulnerability. If you don't acknowledge vulnerability, then you are delusional or you lack a sense of real maturity. We're vulnerable. So the realm, the format of prayer is, I am now verbally acknowledging that although I'm obligated to do my best to make my life good, I can't do it alone. I need your help. You, Hashem, that rules the whole world, that is the whole world, me getting there, I'm dependent upon you. I acknowledge that in a verbal sense. So step one, maturity. I can't get there on my own. You could meet as many people as you want and fix up your profile in JDate and do everything you want, and you still don't have the power to make that happen. Even if your mom calls you and tells you, oh, I can't believe Julie's engaged. Why aren't you engaged? I told you go out with that guy. What's your problem? Just go. Just go. What are you doing? What are you doing all the gym? Go to the gym and then go out. Please, please. I want to walk you down the aisle. So it's not an issue of effort. It's like, oh, I got to work harder on it. You're right. Hard work wins. And if you basically go out with every person in the tri-state area, you'll find your spouse. It's just a matter of hard work. Got to roll up your sleeves and use elbow grease, whatever that is. So the concept is that acknowledge the fact. Work as hard as you want. You still are dependent upon the force of the universe for making that happen. We're in the realm of need. Prayer is when I verbally acknowledge my dependency on the creator and sustainer of the universe. Help me. If every morning you just say those two words, help me, please. 3 words. Please is important. Help me, please. That concept, I'm acknowledging my dependency and I am verbally connecting to that realm. The word tefillah, which means prayer in Hebrew, is connected to the word pasil, which means to be tied. When I acknowledge verbally that I am tied to this realm and I need this to happen, that's the realm of prayer. So all of us are in this concept where we start our day, when you're in that huddle before the game, it's not a question of a ritual thing. Oh, in hockey, let's not shave, we'll have a beard, and that'll be a good luck charm, or like some type of a ritual thing. It's the personal, verbal acknowledgement of dependency. So on a biblical level, there are no words to prayer. There are no definitive thing that you have to say. It has to come from the heart. When a person connects, it's personal. How personal is it that the name of God that we use, we mentioned before, there's God who is, was, and always will be the sustainer, a name that we write but we don't pronounce. But what do we pronounce? Ado, and then Noi. That is personal. That is, the actual name of God that we pronounce is called my God. What do you mean, your God as opposed to me? Why do you refer in such a personal realm? The concept is because Kriya Shema is, I acknowledge the whole universe is one. Now I pray, that's personal. That's in the my God. Everybody here at one point prayed, meaning that you acknowledge I don't have power and I want this to work out, and a higher power in an AA form can have control of that. Help me out. I remember the first time I ever prayed was playing tennis. Because I'm from the 5 towns, you have to play tennis, obviously. And serving is a very difficult concept. Here's me, when I was a teenager. Please make this happen. Don't publicly embarrass me. I'm begging. Ugh. And you have to grunt while you do that. That's personal. And everyone's done that. I did that today going for the 3 train going downtown. I'm like, ooh, zero minutes on the board. I pretty much know how long it'll take me to get up to the steps. 0 means it's almost there. I don't want to totally huff and puff and embarrass myself, but I'd rather wait. But I like, please make this happen. Please make this happen. Please make this happen. That's prayer. If I would verbalize that, I would fulfill the biblical commandment. If I go to shul tomorrow morning and I'm completely spaced out and I'm just, I didn't fulfill the mitzvah. I was in my own brain. I don't know what I was doing. But if I say that, that's the reality of prayer. So all of us, in Waking Up Jewish, it's one song that has all the elements. That we wake up, the concept is, you were dead. You were sleeping. You wake up, you renew, you wash your hands, you recognize I have a body, I have a soul, and it's bound together through this realm called Torah, and I acknowledge the world as a whole, and I pray on a personal level. That happens in 5 minutes in the morning. And that makes a world of a difference. That if a person pauses and decides I'll live intentionally, they can be in charge of their day and own their lives. If you don't do that, when you decide not to do that, so then you have now joined the world in which you will be pulled by reality. You will live in reaction. Everything will be reactionary. So ultimately, the concept of prayer is the realization that even though the world is one and everything is one, there's a personalhood to it. And that our interaction with the forces that be, it's real, it's personal, and if you don't acknowledge it, you are delusional. In other words, when you meet that guy who's like, yeah, I got it all figured out, going for my MBA now, and I'm working out a lot, and I have a friend in a hedge fund, and I should be married probably in about 1.5 years. I'll be in a significant relationship 1.5 years. I'll probably be married about 2.5 years. I've actually put a deposit down on a really nice destination place for 2018. It's a beautiful place in Massachusetts. I love it. I'm actually going for a July wedding. But I just figured 34, so it's the right age and it's fine. Okay, you got it all planned out. You have no idea. You have no idea will you live tomorrow. You have no idea. Now, if you have no idea to a crazy extent, you'll go crazy. But if you don't acknowledge it, you're worse crazy. In other words, I would rather be, oh my gosh, am I going to cross the street? Am I going to make it? Whoa, I made it. Okay, let me call my family. I made it. I'm alive. I'm across the street. I'd rather do that than be that guy who's put a deposit in 2018 and he actually knows the initials. And you know what? I'm looking for a girl that has kind of like JB. You're not in control. You're absolutely fooling yourself. Prayer is a concept. I humbly acknowledge that I need to work. I cannot lay back. I need to work, but my work only creates yardage. It does not score the goal. And that's the only way you win the game. What's winning? Winning is coming to completion. So, the end. That's that story. Thank you. In the realm of giving good is giving in a way in which a human being gains from the giving. God willing, you will all be parents. Really important to fulfill your parental obligations and do things for your kids. Now, if your kid is in 2nd grade and whines, I want that knapsack, I want that knapsack, I want that knapsack. And you want, all right, fine, we'll get the knapsack. I want pizza, let's get pizza. All right, fine, we'll get pizza. You've all witnessed parents with kids, and they are basically being dragged like a biscuits and bath dog walker who's like walking 7 dogs. Like, why did I take this job? So you've seen people, parents with kids who are like, I want this. And we are all lazy parents. We're like, okay, fine, you get it, buy it, I don't care, it's going on a credit card, just buy it. Leave me alone. If you shut up, I will buy it. Okay, fine. So what is that? That's terrorism. Basically, they have a gun, which is called the wine, and they're like, okay, put the credit card down, swipe, and buy this for me. And they're like, all right, I'll buy it, I'll do that. So what happens, there's a great book called Don't Raise Kids That Only Parents Will Love. Don't raise your kids that only the parents will love them, because we all know those people. And they grow up, and they go to college, and then they could become your roommate. And they expect everything should happen all the time. Mommy, the cable guy's coming. I gotta go to work. It's somewhere between 9. I'll come, darling. I'm coming. I'm there. Okay, why aren't you here now? You should be here now. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, that person is insane. Now, in this realm, in this concept, it means as a parent, I need to train the kid to ask and to appreciate. So I want to buy it if it's rational, and I won't buy it if it's not. But if you ask in that manner, it will never happen. So what am I doing? It's a force please. So I do this, I don't care how old my kids could be, 80 years old, they'll be pass the soda. I'm like, no. Please pass the soda, I'll do it right away. Because if you say please, you ask, now I'm giving it to a way that you can actually receive it. So in other words, as opposed to just saying, hey, come on, let's end this pain. Just take away the darkness and there'll be light, we'll all be good. But I want the darkness to be taken away in a way that I appreciate, and I'm thankful for that realm that was taken away. So yeah, who made me lose the glove to begin with? But maybe this interplay is part of my development of getting the glove in a way in which I etched forward one step to realize that I'm humbly not in control.